Welcome to part 2 of the paintball gun battle commentaries from Living Dead, and it's shot at On Target Paintball in Pemberton, New Jersey. Now remember, the invaders are versus the Brotherhood in this game, with a third entity of zombies. So the Brotherhood have blue armbands and the invaders have red armbands. And we're going to focus in this video a little bit on these two players you see in front of me, the one on the spindle and the one behind the dirt mound. They both are party to their own team, and I apologize. I'm sure you guys in the comments can tell us exactly what team they were a part of. But they're working on the castle, and if you watched part 1, you know that this castle is just
coming through your lane.
A place where everybody can brawl for a large swath of property that means nothing in the game. Now notice here that we're down low now. We're within this castle. See that player there is a player without a gun, so they obviously had a role to play. Could have been a medic, could have been a VIP of some sort. But down low here kind of gives you a real good feel for what it means to be in the game and not know what the hell is on the other side of a wall. And if you remember correctly, when we started the video, my two guys are just on this side of the wall, to the left of the screen here. They're out there and they want to get in with these red players. So those two players outside the wall are Brotherhood, I believe, in blue. And you can see there's one of the invaders in red down in the corner, holding that position. And aside from these two players that try to take this castle, there's another player, a third one, that actually parks himself right underneath me where I'm standing on the outside of the castle, and he's there for almost like a half an hour and nobody knows he's there. See the speedball fields there? A lot of players will take time to just walk down in there and watch gun battles that take place out here. But quite honestly, where I'm standing at is an incredibly good vantage point when things heat up. So if you look off in the distance there, straight down to the left of the speedball nets, that is an insertion point. And to the right of the speedball nets, once we pan back around here, so straight down that lane, straight on out in the distance is a spawn point for one team. And then if we take a right there and walk up to the right hand side of the nets, that's the other spawn point. And it's kind of strange, you'd think, that both teams would spawn so close to each other because there's so much paintball field behind me. And we'll get to those in later videos. You'll see some of the gameplay. But quite frankly, the best gameplay, I think, is when you get these downward perspective shots of gun battles taking place. Obviously not a lot's happening right now, that's why I'm keeping you busy, but I want to give you, just a good feel for what it's like if you've never been to On Target and played in one of their scenario games, and specifically in this one, the Living Dead scenario game. The game itself takes place usually in August. They say they're going to move it back into September where it's a little cooler, because every year we go, it is just, you just sweat your balls off. And it sucks the energy out of you. By the time you hit 3 o'clock, you're like, I'm ready for final battle, please. Alright, so these guys are about to finally push into this castle wall and work around that pillbox there that we focused on in part 1. And I think that is our third player that kind of parks himself that I was speaking of. And it gets kind of comical, quite honestly. I mean, to think that so much fighting goes on within this wall, and there's a player only 18 inches away, and they don't know he's there. So finally, here we go. These guys are going to work their way in. I mean, and you're asking yourself, why the hell didn't they go in the first place? You just don't know what's inside. And it's very hard to get recon or enough information without getting information from teammates on your own to know that it's safe to go in. I mean, think about it. They've just busted in. There could have been players back in the right-hand corner. See that upper corner there? Just squeaked into the top side of the screen. You could sit a guy down in there and just take cover in there, waiting for somebody to come in and shoot them out. So these guys start to work as a team. Now look at the far side of the castle. They're going to miss players running in because they don't post up and hold that lane. I mean, look at that one player who just came in. He missed him. He didn't even see him come in. It just takes a second for someone to move. Now, fortunately, he was shot out by another player, so he doesn't have to worry about him. And you'll see that he's focused now down into that doorway. And they're both working as a nice team now at this point. They're most likely talking to each other, telling each other what's going on. And as long as each one of them stays alive, then each one of them doesn't have to worry about getting shot in the back, and they can truly try to get posted up and hold their lanes. Here's my creed. When you get a lane, you hold it. Now you see what he's doing there? He's wrapped around that pipe. And now he just gave up the lane. Now, he's wrapped because he's actually protecting himself towards some shots that are out over that wall. So it's not entirely his fault that he's pushed back out and given up that lane. In fact, it's not his fault at all. So he's not wrapped far enough around that pipe, so he's not seeing the doorway. And look at these guys rush in. Now he's missed a number of players. Nobody's fault. It's just one of those things where it happens. You know, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But if he'd have had that lane the whole time, he'd have roped 3 of them on the way. Now those guys are all in, and I think one of them's going to come around that far pipe, but his buddy is doing the right thing. His gun is up the whole time. His gun is never down, and he's waiting. So he may hear somebody come, but he's keeping his... Oh, he put his gun down, making me look bad. But his gun will go back up, because look what's going to happen here. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. Now, in his defense, he put his gun down when he was tucked back in. Like, so he's rolling back in when he drops the gun. Now, personally, again, I'm saying get out there and hold that lane. Bang. So he had his gun up, guy came and he got him. Now, the other thing is, he has the advantage of being in game. He probably heard something. Here's another guy. He's going to get shot. Free shot. Bang. And the guy looks at him and goes, what? Oh, you're not on my team? Oh, man, how stupid can I be? Because that's what happened. He walked into that castle thinking that that player was already on his team. So there's another lesson for you. You know, you just don't take crap for granted. But here we go, holding lanes again. Looks good. You know, that's when things go right, when you're up and you're holding lanes, waiting for somebody to come around. Because then you pop them, you push them in. They don't, you know, they're not going to push you in if you're holding that lane.
Friendlies inside. Remember that. I got it. All right. I don't want to give game tips, but I think that's worth knowing.
I'd like to know what that happened there. I think he ran out of paint. But here's the thing. He left his other player, and I don't think his other player knows he's left. If I'm taking off, I'm letting somebody know they're on their own. Now, fortunately, he just lost a snapshot battle. He didn't get shot in the back. So, you know, all's well that ends well in terms of being able to leave with dignity. You know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'd much rather lose a snapshot battle than I would have somebody shoot me in the ass. You've watched some of my videos where I'll complain about that 7-year-old kid that you run by because he's hiding for his life, and you didn't know enough to check everything as you're running through. All right, now see that wall there, that wooden wall. That becomes a very pivotal point as well. Now, as you can see, I believe it's the blue team, the Brotherhood now start to flood this castle. No, I'm sorry, it's the invaders, because we can see that blue team guy hiding down there where I told you he's going to be for the next half hour. So the invaders are now working their way around the outside on that far side, and as players get in the castle, that wooden wall becomes an interesting place where things happen, so keep an eye on it as I'm talking. So if you're new to paintball and you're watching a scenario game, I'm going to go over this as much as I can in each video, so bear with me if you're one of the established players who knows this already. But scenario games take place over the course of a full day, or in sometimes multiple days. And they don't take place on just one part of a paintball complex. They use the entire complex. They bundle all the fields together, and they allow, you know, up to hundreds of players to participate together. And there's usually 2 teams versus each other, but sometimes there's as many as 3. Such as in Skirmish, they have the invasion of Normandy, where they have actual third party, the French, who can switch allegiances throughout the day. And that happens with many scenario games. Scenario games are not reenactments. They just use something, you know, as a premise in which to operate and create gameplay objectives mixed in with, you know, just elimination style play. You see these 2 guys took position. There's a guy behind that wooden wall, and shooting in on him. He's going to get tight now. He just checked himself. No, I'm clean, I'm clean, I'm clean. Watch what happens with this wall here. He's forcing him tight. His buddy's going to jump up over the wall and do the old, no, I'm not blind firing, I'm shooting you in the top of the head routine. Now that player in the cube should be in tighter, because the guy on the wall is posted. He's got a lane on him. He's waiting for a mistake. Bang. Mistake was made. Got him. And as I said, his buddy had a free shot on the player on the wall because he was posted up. He was laned. But, you know, they were communicating early. They just didn't execute quick enough for them both to survive. Okay, you guys ready for more? I hope so, because there's more to come.
It's too much for any man!
DangerMan is sponsored by 187pb.com, Patchwork, Inception Designs, and Ninja Paintball. And you may now support the channel by donating. Thank you.